June 23rd, 2009, 6:48 a.m., Springfield, Missouri. A mailman named Gary Poole is making his usual rounds. He approaches the Whitaker residence at 1427 Elm Street. The front door is open. Just a crack, but enough. Gary calls out. No answer. He pushes the door wider. The foyer is clean. Too clean. The air smells of lemon polish. And something else. Something metallic. He steps inside. The living room is immaculate. The kitchen is spotless. But the basement door is open. And the light is on. Gary does not go downstairs. He calls 911 instead. When police arrive 12 minutes later, they find the basement flooded. Not with water, with bleach. Gallons of it. Puddles on the concrete floor, splashes on the walls, and in the center of the room, a single wooden chair, tipped over. Mary Whitaker, age 36, mother of two, church volunteer, is nowhere to be found. But her wedding ring is sitting on the chair, perfectly centered. True crime rule number 1, understand the victim. Mary Whitaker was the kind of woman who baked cookies for school fundraisers, who remembered every neighbor's birthday, who never missed a Sunday service at Grace Community Church. She married her high school sweetheart, Daniel Whitaker, at 22. They had 2 daughters, Emma, age 9, and Sophie, age 6. By every account, the Whitakers were the perfect family. But perfect families leave traces. And Mary Whitaker left behind something strange. Her phone, still on the kitchen counter, still open to a text message, sent at 11:47 p.m. the night before. The message read, "I know what you did. Meet me in the basement. Now." The message was sent to Daniel Whitaker, her husband.
Daniel Whitaker was questioned at his workplace, a car dealership on the other side of town. He said he never received the message. He said he was working late. He said he had no idea where his wife was. But his co-workers told a different story. Daniel left work at 10 p.m., not 11:47 p.m., and he looked nervous, sweating. One coworker said Daniel's hands were shaking so badly, he dropped his keys 3 times. When police asked Daniel to explain the 2-hour gap, he said he went for a drive, alone. No destination, no witnesses. The crime formula says, when a spouse disappears and the other spouse has an unexplained gap in time, look closer. So they did.
The basement told a story, but it was a story someone had tried very hard to erase. Forensic teams worked for 18 hours straight. Here is what they found. First, the bleach. Over 4 gallons had been poured across the floor, enough to destroy most DNA evidence. But bleach leaves crystals when it dries, and those crystals preserve footprints. Second, footprints. 2 distinct sets. One belonged to Mary Whitaker, size 7 women's sneakers. The other belonged to a man, size 11 work boots, the same brand Daniel Whitaker wore at the dealership. Third, blood. Not visible to the naked eye, but luminol revealed a spray pattern on the far wall. Dozens of tiny droplets, consistent with a blunt force impact. And fourth, the chair. The wooden chair had been wiped clean, but underneath the seat, wedged between 2 slats, was a single strand of hair. Long, blonde. Mary's. The crime formula says, the scene tells you the cause of death even without a body. Here, The cause was clear: blunt force trauma, bleach used as a cleanup agent, and a man-sized footprint leading from the chair to the back door. But where was Mary Whitaker? And why did Daniel Whitaker have bleach on his shoes when he finally returned home at 1 a.m.? Daniel's answer? He spilled bleach at work, on his lunch break. The problem? The dealership didn't have bleach on the premises, anywhere. Daniel Whitaker was arrested on June 25, 2009, 2 days after his wife vanished. He did not hire a lawyer. He agreed to speak for over 7 hours. Here is what he said. Mary was depressed. She had been acting strange for months. She accused him of things, terrible things, things he would never do. He said the night she disappeared, he went for a drive to clear his head. He came home, she was gone. End of story. But detectives had his phone records, and his phone told a different story. At 10:15 p.m., Daniel's phone pinged a tower near his home, not the dealership. At 11:30 p.m., the phone pinged again, still near the home. At 11:47 p.m., Mary sent her text. "I know what you did. Meet me in the basement." Daniel's phone did not move from that location until 12:30 a.m. When it finally moved, it traveled west, toward a rural area known for abandoned farms, old wells, forgotten land. Detectives asked Daniel to explain the pings. He said his phone must have been wrong. He said he was never home. He said Mary was lying about the texts. But Mary's phone was found on the kitchen counter. Her fingerprints only. No one else had touched it. So who wrote the text? Mary wrote it to her own husband, hours before she vanished. The question detectives could not answer: what did Mary know? And what did Daniel do to keep her quiet? The crime formula requires physical evidence. And 6 weeks into the investigation, a farmer named Harold Vance made a discovery. He was clearing brush on his property, 14 miles west of the Whitaker home. He found a shallow grave, not deep enough to hide a body, but deep enough to hide something else. A hammer, rusted, wrapped in duct tape, with dark brown staining on the metal head. Forensic testing confirmed the staining was human blood, Mary Whitaker's blood type. And the duct tape had a single fingerprint, partial but usable. The fingerprint matched Daniel Whitaker's right thumb. Daniel was re-interviewed. This time, he had a lawyer. He said nothing. He invoked his Fifth Amendment rights. He stopped cooperating entirely. But the prosecution had enough. Blood evidence, a weapon, footprints, a text message, and a 2-hour gap that Daniel could not explain. They charged Daniel Whitaker with first-degree murder, even without a body. Mary Whitaker had been missing for 47 days, and the trial was about to begin. But the crime formula has one more stage, the most disturbing stage, the motive. And when the motive came out, the entire town of Springfield realized they had been living next to a monster for over a decade. Why would a husband kill his wife? The obvious answer is an affair, or money, or a fight. But Daniel Whitaker's motive was none of those things. During the trial, Mary's sister took the stand. She testified that Mary had called her 3 days before she vanished. Mary was crying. She said she had found something in the attic, something terrible. She wouldn't explain over the phone. She said she would show her sister on Saturday. Saturday never came. Police searched the attic of 1427 Elm Street. Hidden behind old suitcases and Christmas decorations, they found a locked metal box. Inside, 47 photographs, all of young girls, all blonde, all between the ages of 8 and 12. None of them were Mary's daughters.
The photographs were traced to a summer camp where Daniel Whitaker had volunteered as a counselor from 1998 to 2007, 9 summers. When investigators interviewed former campers, 3 women came forward. They said Daniel had been inappropriate, touchy, too familiar. They never reported it because they were children and they were afraid. Mary found the photographs in early June. She confronted Daniel on June 22nd, the day before she disappeared. Her text message that night said, "I know what you did. Meet me in the basement, now." Prosecutors believe Mary was giving Daniel one last chance to confess, to turn himself in, to do the right thing. Instead, Daniel brought a hammer to the basement, and Mary Whitaker was never seen again.
The trial lasted 4 weeks. The jury deliberated for 9 hours. Daniel Whitaker was convicted of first-degree murder on November 12, 2009. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Mary Whitaker's body has never been found. Prosecutors believe Daniel disposed of her in one of the abandoned wells near where the hammer was discovered, but searches turned up nothing. The wells are too deep, too dangerous, too many. Daniel has never confessed. He has never apologized. He has never told anyone where Mary is. But his older daughter, Emma, now 26, speaks publicly about the case. She says her mother was brave, braver than anyone knew. She says Mary was going to report Daniel to the police the morning of June 24th. She had already written a letter. It was found in her nightstand. The letter began, "If you are reading this, something has happened to me. Daniel is not the man you think he is. Please protect my girls." The case of Mary Whitaker is a reminder that evil does not always live in dark alleys or abandoned buildings. Sometimes it lives in the basement. Sometimes it volunteers at summer camps. Sometimes it smiles at church picnics while hiding photographs in the attic. Mary Whitaker died trying to protect children she had never met. She is a hero, and her daughters are carrying her legacy. But the question that haunts Springfield is this: how many other photographs did Daniel Whitaker destroy before police arrived? How many other victims never came forward? And how many monsters are still hiding in plain sight? Mary Whitaker, 1973 to 2009. Her body was never found, but her voice was heard. If you suspect child abuse, report it. Call the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOST. Mary Whitaker, 1973 to 2009. Body never recovered. Her voice was heard. If you suspect child abuse, report it. 1-800-THE-LOST.